Gluten-free food is a new trend, especially about gluten-free bread. There are a lot of publications. The question is, how healthy is a gluten-free bread? I have compared all the known nutrients in gluten-free bread and standard bread. I have looked up to 60 different nutrients and compared them scientifically with each other. I would like to share the results with you. After watching this video, you might decide not to eat gluten-free bread. Let's look the data together and be surprised. The first bread is the standard wheat bread, which has gluten. That is the control, that is so-called comparison. This bread consists of whole grain wheat, flour, salt, and yeast. The next bread is rice bread. I have found this bread in YouTube. It seems to be a popular bread because it also looks very nice actually. Maybe therefore 1.1 million people clicked on this bread. This bread consists of rice flour, olive oil, sugar, salt, and yeast. The next gluten-free bread is also from YouTube. 0.2 million people clicked on this bread. The bread consists of flax seeds, baking powder, baking soda, vinegar, and salt. The last bread I have also taken from YouTube. It is quinoa chia bread. 0.6 million people clicked on this bread, seems to be also popular. It consists of quinoa, chia, olive oil, baking powder, salt, and lemon juice. Now, let's compare these three gluten-free bread with a standard bread in terms of all the nutrients. I would like to start the comparison with their calories. I have made the comparisons per 100 gram. That means if you eat 100 gram of each bread, how much calorie would you take? Standard bread has around 300 calories. It is gluten containing wheat bread actually. And all other gluten-free bread, they have a calorie content of around 400. That means if you eat gluten-free bread, automatically by every 100 gram bread you take 100 calories more. That is important to know. And the next parameter is the fat content. When I go to comparison of fat, I see big difference actually. By wheat bread, the fat content is 2%. It is actually 2 gram. It is extremely low. That's also known that wheat doesn't have very much fat, and in order to produce standard wheat containing bread, people don't use normally fat. Therefore, it is very, very low. Rice bread has 11 gram fat. It is significantly higher. And rice as a corn doesn't have fat. And the question is, why is this 11 gram fat, or where it comes from? And here we can remember again by rice. In the recipe, people put olive oil in it. That is not only in rice, but also in quinoa bread. People put a lot of other things like olive oil, baking powder, lemon juice, etc. in order to give more aroma, more texture. Gluten-free breads are not easy to produce, therefore they give this olive oil and sugar, etc. inside. But it has the consequence that it contributes to high fat content in rice bread. The highest fat is in flaxseed bread. That fat doesn't come from an extra addition. It is actually part of flax seed. We should remind or remember that flaxseed is actually an oil seed. The people press these to produce oil. These seeds consist of around 50% fat, and that is the reason why this bread has a high concentration of fat. Chia bread has also very high fat content, 18%. That comes also from the recipe. Again, I go one more time to chia bread. Here, people put olive oil in it in order to improve the texture and maybe the taste. But that contributes to high fat content, automatically also to high calories. What about with protein? In terms of proteins, wheat bread has 11 gram protein, or 11%. Rice has lowest protein content. That is also known actually that rice has high carbohydrate and low protein content compared to wheat. That is not a surprise. This flaxseed bread has extremely high protein concentration, which is also not a surprise because flax seeds are very rich in protein and very rich in fat, actually. That is visible here. Chia bread has the same amount of protein content like wheat bread, 11% or 11 gram. What about with fiber? Fiber is very important for our health, our bacteria in our gut. Let's look the fibers. Fibers in whole grain wheat bread is around 13% or 13 gram. And rice bread, it is actually a catastrophe in terms of fiber because it has almost nothing. It has no fiber because it is a white rice corn which is used for bread making. Therefore, it is only 2 gram. And flaxseed is very rich in fiber content as well, 21 gram, which is very, very positive actually. And chia has more or less the same fiber content like wheat bread. What about with carbohydrates? In terms of carbohydrates, wheat bread has around 60% carbohydrates. Rice, I told you before as well, rice has very high carbohydrate content of 70%. And then flaxseed, it is an actually very good bread with low carbohydrate, high protein, and high fat, but also high fiber. And that is again one more time visible here. In terms of chia bread, we have 50 gram carbohydrate in 100 gram is also comparable with wheat bread. Actually, chia bread is in many aspects more comparable to wheat bread somehow. The extreme two breads are rice bread, which is actually in worst case scenario, and another extreme, which seems to be very healthy, it is the flaxseed bread, another extreme case. Let's look at minerals. In terms of minerals, wheat bread, the standard gluten-containing wheat bread, has 800 milligram per 100 gram bread, which is moderate actually. Rice has a very, very low mineral content. The reason is, again, one more time, it is peeled rice corn, which is used here for making bread. It is white rice corn. And the minerals are normally on the skin of the corn. And if you peel the corn and use only the inside, the starchy part, and there are very, very low concentration of minerals. That is the reason why we have only 200 milligram minerals in rice bread. Flaxseed is quite known as well for high mineral content, and it is an extraordinary high concentration. What we have almost 2000 milligram per 100 gram bread, we have minerals. Chia bread is the next high content, mineral content bread, which is also very good actually, 1500 milligram in 100 milligram bread. What about with trace elements? I would like to explain first as trace elements what I understood, that are those minerals iron, zinc, copper, mangan, fluorite, and iodide. All these trace elements I put in one group and then compared the concentration of every group in each other. Wheat bread has 9 milligram in 100 gram bread, which is good or moderate. Rice has again and again very low content of trace elements, and the reason is again the same. People use here white rice corn, which is more or less only starch, and if you use it for making bread, you have also no trace elements, almost no trace elements inside. Flaxseed, it is similar to minerals, is rich in mineral but also in trace elements, in very healthy bread actually. Chia bread is again by many aspects, comparable to white bread. It has 7 milligram in 100 gram bread. What about vitamins? When I speak about the vitamins, I understood those vitamins: vitamin A, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, 7, 9, 12, vitamin C, vitamin D, E, and K. Actually, all the known vitamins, I put the concentration of all those vitamins in one group and then compare between the bread. Wheat bread is actually in many aspects moderate, and we have around 7 milligram vitamins in 100 gram bread. Rice is not only in trace elements and minerals but also in vitamins. Very poor bread, actually absolutely not healthy bread. Flaxseed bread is almost always the most healthiest bread because also vitamins are extremely high, and chia bread is again comparable to wheat bread.
I am biotechnologist. I would like to compare the nutritional profile of different foods and then show the results to the public. If you are interested to know more about the food in future, maybe even your favorite food, please follow me.
We have analyzed the calorie content, fat content, protein content, fiber, carbohydrate, minerals, trace elements, vitamins. Some bread is good in terms of fat, the other bread is good in terms of protein, the other bread is good in terms of vitamins. The question is, which of these bread is actually healthiest? This question cannot be answered by looking only to vitamins or only the minerals. There must be another criteria to make a final evaluation. This criteria is actually the balance of all the nutrients. How all the nutrients, not only vitamins, not only minerals, all around 60 single nutrients are balanced in one food actually, or in one bread. That is the key and final decision about the healthiness of a bread. This I have done, and I call it a score actually, which of the bread fulfills the requirements of the body in terms of all the nutrients. And it should be so well balanced so that nothing is too low, nothing is too high, so that everything is in balance, all the 60 nutrients in balance. If everything is perfectly balanced, then that bread should get a score of 100. If it is less balanced, accordingly it will be less. Now, according to this final evaluation, wheat bread made from whole grain get a balanced score of 67. That means 67% of all the nutrients what my cells, my body needs, this bread delivers in one piece. Big surprise is by flaxseed bread. We have seen by single nutrients, flaxseed bread was more or less all the time the winner. It was rich in proteins, rich in vitamins, in minerals, in trace elements. However, in terms of balance of all the nutrients, we see that it is the worst bread. Worst. How it is possible? How it is possible that we have a bread which is very rich in all nutrients, but when we eat 100 gram of that bread, that it has a lower balance score compared to all other bread. The reason is flaxseed bread is actually a power bread. It is full packed by everything. If we would eat, as written here, 100 gram of this flaxseed bread, we would get most of the nutrient in extremely high concentration. Actually, all of the nutrients would come in our body more than what we need. If we get some nutrients more than what we need, it is equally detrimental than getting some nutrients less. In public, people discuss about having some nutrient limitation. Oh, I have too little iron. Oh, I have too little vitamin C. I need to take some pills. We always focus to little nutrients. But my research in laboratory show that having high concentration of nutrients is equally detrimental than having low concentration. And by flaxseed, it is the case. In summary, I repeat, if you eat 100 gram bread made from flaxseed flax seeds, you would do more damage to your body than something positive actually. And actually, even we don't need scientific evaluation. Just think about, just imagine you take 100 gram flax seed as a seed and try to eat it. It is half of this seed is fat. You cannot eat it. Even if you eat, you feel thereafter bad. And this data evaluation shows exactly the same actually. If you insist eating flaxseed bread, you need to eat very, very little amount, little quantity in order to have equally performance like other bread. In terms of chia bread, we have seen also by single nutrients that chia bread was comparable to wheat bread, and here also in terms of balance of all the nutrients, it is comparable to wheat bread.
In summary, if you eat gluten-free bread, you eat definitively more fat or more protein. More protein doesn't mean that it is healthier. About the protein, I will make a separate video. But be prepared, if you eat gluten-free bread, you take definitively more calories.